move this thing again. It's really hard to find like an angle that's okay. So I went and took the car. I'm back. Now I'm having horrible allergies. It's really, really pretty out, but a lot of stuff is growing right now for sure. But there was something I wanted to make a point about that I forgot earlier was, you know, with the kids at school. So with having these troubled kids, you know, for all the different reasons. So in this, you know, I'm not sure if he was trying to, because there's definitely an agenda that parents and adults are failing you. You need to, you know, save yourself. Fuck parents, fuck adults. They've destroyed the world, you know. I mean, that's a definite thing that's going on. So, you know, I don't know if that was the teller's, if that was his story that he was trying to get out there. But, you know, there's also, you know, people living those real stories. Like, I mean, that's not an uncommon story. How far that one kid went was more uncommon, probably. But who knows how many of them do a lot of shitty things. Because that's one thing right now that we have is these kids who do horrible acts and then film it. Like, I don't even know. Like, that's so cut off from having empathy or connection. It's so weird. But, you know, with having the family structure and everything torn apart, you know, I mean, like war is used to take men out of the house, poverty, so men commit crimes so they can imprison them, so they can destroy families. And then, you know, the whole thing with the women's movement and stuff, but then all of this gender identity crisis. You know, I mean, if you can't see, but you have to understand there's controllers, you know. If you think like this is all just, you know, because we're an accident and this is just how things go, then, you know, we're not on the same page. But if you understand that there's controllers and they'll do anything they can to control us, then you start to see the picture a lot clearer. Oh, I know why it's kind of dark, and I forgot to turn this one light on. Hold on. So I was thinking, man, it looks dark in here. So anyways, when you can see, you know, what they've done to destroy the family and stuff and the family structure, and then put it to, you know, you need 2 jobs to survive. And so, man, I mean, that sent a lot of people into poverty. And then, you know, there's no time to really work on yourself or your relationships or anything like that. Because you gotta get to work. You got shit to do. Your kids have needs. You gotta make money. You gotta, you know, have the latest, greatest things. There's always something new coming. You know, you gotta update your car. You gotta get new tires. Your appliances wear out. It's just like non-stop bullshit. So, you know, and you do have a whole generation, I think probably more than one, of kids that just raise themselves, that there wasn't anybody home, and they feel rejected and neglected. And a lot of them spent way too long playing video games. And we do have, you know, a very disconnected group that, you know, they just don't have the same connection. Like when I was in the 70s growing up, and in the 60s, it was very different. You know, kids were meant to be seen and not heard. Like you had no voice. Like you would go in and, you know, slam your door. Jesus Christ. Or scream at your parents or cuss at your parents or say you're going to call CPS and all the bullshit. Yeah, it was different times back then. And the parents I had were more lax than the parents they had. You know, I mean, we've come from very strict, domineering kind of structures. I think that kind of came back when the missionaries and stuff went in, because all of the religious propaganda that they were, you know, forcing on families of how they needed to abide by the rules. It's like, abide by these rules, pay your taxes, and then otherwise I don't give a fuck. But I just think that we do have a lot of kids that are troubled who don't have anyone to help them figure it out but other troubled kids. You know, and that's one of our problems in our society. And another thing, you know, I keep thinking about is sex. You know, there's so much stuff about that. One weird thing about it is, too, as I was thinking, it's weird because I feel like a completely different person. Like, if I even hear about the stuff that I used to do, it's just like, I would not do that. I wouldn't do that now. I wouldn't, you know, it just seems so weird and foreign, like. And so I feel like I'm completely transformed, and I would not even be the same person that somebody had gone to bed with before. So it's weird. It's like that person is gone, and any experience from forward is completely it's like volume 2. You know, I used to think that things that happened in my life were chapters, you know, and then you get through this chapter, and some chapters are boring, some are exciting, some are, you know, all different when you're reading a book. That's what makes a book interesting. But now I think I'm in volume 2. Like, that whole book ended, and now I'm starting a whole new one. And but so, you know, there's a lot of stuff about sex, because I'm one of those people who believe, you know, love is love. I don't understand why we talk about it. Why do we have to discuss whose fucking business is it who we love? It is nobody's business. It shouldn't be up for discussion. We shouldn't have to have anybody tell us this is okay or that's okay. There is nobody over us. There's nobody to judge us. And sex is like one of those paradigms that has been so structured to create so much shame in people. And I mean, they come at it from all ways to create shame. And I was thinking about, you know, because since we were talking last, but since I was talking about, and when I had seen David Rodriguez and what is it, Street Fighter, when I had seen them talking about like the, you know, our ancient history, and that's just something I've really been interested in. And I mean, just the whole thing with that alien agenda and stuff like that. But, you know, yesterday when I was talking about it, you know, if you go with what I believe, like if you go through, I mean, there's a lot of different things. I can't remember them all. I know the Sumerian tablets has a lot of information about our history, but it also, though, you have to have it put together with all these other things. It's when you see them, it's like you got to see more pieces of the puzzle. They've left out all these pieces of the puzzle. Once you get more pieces, then you'll figure out for yourself what you believe. But in the puzzle that I've been putting together, then, you know, it's, we have an alien history. And I was talking about when they had messed with our DNA and developed us, and, you know, they didn't like us a few times and they killed us off. And then they came back and changed. And, you know, I guess that shows in our DNA or in our skull structure or something, that they can tell, like, there was certain changes. Because my daughter, who went to school for archaeology, she was even saying there's a period of time. I mean, she's completely against anything I say, but there's a period of time that they don't know even what happened. It was like a big jump. But, you know, when you go to the Sumerian tablets, that fills in some of these holes. And so when they developed us at first, you know, we were apes. And, you know, what apes, I mean, we could go to the zoo and watch them. They're going to have sex, they're going to throw shit, they're going to play, they're going to jump around in trees and shit like that. And so, you know, when we were more like that, I guess they found us quite disgusting, and they thought we just were wanting to have sex all the time and stuff like that. And I was thinking, I bet you that this shaming us started, I mean, at the very beginning of our entire existence. And it has just always found a way in to shame each generation about sex. And right now, oh my gosh, they've got it so complicated. They've got so many people so confused about, you know, maybe they should be a different gender. You know, you got guys. I mean, this is an epidemic. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, that was one thing when, you know, you have one or two or something, then it seems like, you know, okay, that makes sense. When there starts being hundreds, thousands, it stops making sense to me. Then it's like, okay, something's going on. I saw somebody driving. Something's going on that is making these people not, they don't feel right. Something's wrong. There's like something going on. And I think it just becomes so clear. And I think it's a shame, you know. You should be able to experience life as what you're born as. It's not like that's your only shot. It's just the experience you're here to have. You're born in that body for that experience. And when people feel super confused, I always took it before as it made sense to me, because you're being born in different bodies all the time, you know, and we aren't, you know, a being has to have the two different sexes. Like we have to have a male and a female so that we can, well, they want to get it to where we're just made in a lab anyways, back to that. They don't want us having any control over anything. But so if you are, it drives me so crazy. I'm right in the middle of saying something and I just go blank. So if you're born in whichever, that's the experience you came to have. And, you know, it's not like this is your only experience you're ever going to get to have. You got to get the right one. But, okay, so back to the thing of, you know, I always took it as that they were just confused by the being born back and forth over being a male, female. And that just, you know, made sense. You know, because I think that probably a lot of souls prefer one or the other when you're in this kind of situation. I don't think every experience that a soul has to, you know, that has to do with procreation or something. I think there's, I don't know. I just think there's completely different experiences going on. Completely different. I mean, you got to start thinking about every single thing is an experience. Worms, that's an experience. It has something that has it alive, whether, you know, it's an advanced soul that is, you know, fractaled out into all these, you know, little things or whatever. I mean, you have infinity to play around. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But every single thing has some source of energy, and we are the suppliers. You know, especially if you are conscious energy, you understand what you are. And so, you know, when the, I don't know, that just, it made sense. But then when it started just being, you know, all these people just, there's so much hate. Hate this, hate that. You know, hate men, hate, I don't even know. I mean, it's just so clear that it's all just this agenda of just chaos and division and confusion. And there's so much, you know, they're creating so much confusion with sex, and you know, that we have to put it down to, you know, label yourself by a letter, and you know, then demand to be accepted. Why do we need to demand anything? Why do we need to say anything? Why is it anyone's business? Who gives a fuck? You know, if you're an adult and you are with an adult, it's y'all's business what you're doing. You know, nobody should be interfering with a child. You know, I mean, if a child is with another child doing something, you know, that's one thing. But when adults are manipulating kids to do things, that's against God's law. I mean, that's bad. That's like murdering. You know, it's bad, and you take a part away from them. And it is an experience. You know, it is something that people learn from. So it is an experience, but I don't think overpowering people or making people do what they don't want to do, or manipulating people or any of that stuff. I think that is, I hate to say, like, bad, because you know, the more you go up, the more there it just is no good or bad. There just is none. It's all just experience. But here on this planet, in this experience, as human beings, as trying to live by a structured society, it is harmful to do things to kids. You know, that's all I can say. But if you're adults and you know, we should be able to do whatever we want, and it should be between the people. And you know, I mean, we do have some childishness. You know, people break up and then they say and do things that cross the line. But I think that's part of people starting relationships before they are in a good place. But see, then that's an experience. I mean, there's just nothing that you can just be like, this is good, this is bad, this is good. It's all just experience. But I still want to make that clear. I'm against pedophilia. I can say by certainty that it does affect children, and it's bad karma. If you want to do something to hurt somebody, you're going to have bad karma. And that is going to be what's going to happen. If you hurt someone else, you're going to carry, I've talked about that before, you're going to carry that energy. You're going to, everyone that it affects, that's all going to be on you. So, you know, people really need to think about, before they take actions, who and how they're going to affect somebody. And but sex should be, there shouldn't be all this shame around it. And I just think there's way too much of people needing to explain and be accepted and stuff. And I personally, I don't think that sex is meant to come with pain. I think it kind of, you're missing the point. I think that when people need to feel pain with sex, it's some sort of shaming themselves, because it should be the most pleasurable experience, you know, that you can have. It should be. I mean, you are supposed to be experiencing pleasure with your body. And yeah, you need to, if you don't want to have kids, then you need to be responsible. And, you know, but still, it is meant for our pleasure and enjoyment as well. And, you know, for so long, people were told, like, it's only meant to have kids. You should never even have sex unless you're going to have kids. And they had women going into doctors' offices getting orgasms, and men going to the house of ill reprieve, or however you say it, going down there because it was shameful. Just shame, shame, shame. Just this constant shame. And if people enjoy sex, and they get labeled as being things wrong with them. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you know, experiencing pleasure. And I kind of think more of that. I think it's like tantric or something, where you are, you know, like really trying to experience the pleasure. And I think kind of like you draw it out more, like you don't just rush into it. You kind of like get more in the moment and really connect. And I don't know, I mean, I've had sex before where it feels like you've left the planet, where you are just, and it's crazy. Like you really feel yourself come back into your body. And I think that's about what connecting sexually with another person and the same kind of energy. I think that's like goals. I mean, we've got a lot of things, a lot of problems that we've had that are, you know, are going to have to be purged out of our society in regards to sex. But I do think that sex is meant for us to enjoy and experience pleasure with our bodies. And it's so crazy. Just if you even try and explain, like, what does an orgasm feel like? I think it's impossible to even explain to somebody. And even if you can come up with words, you would never know if they really felt what you feel when you have one. Like, how do any of us know? I don't think it's just like a one size fits all. I think it has to do with your connection and what you experience, you know, and it goes always with the mind, body, soul. There's so much about us taking care of our bodies, and sex is a huge thing that you need to take care of. It is like, I mean, there is a release afterwards where it is like, you just feel like, relaxed, and like you can breathe. And I just feel like that we are gonna start, you know, I just think so many things are going to be changing of how we're going to be experiencing life in the future. And I really, I mean, I heard somebody the other day say, oh no, on the med beds, they're not even that great yet. Oh, I believe technology is so far advanced. I mean, the craziest sci-fi movie that they show us, they've already got that shit. So I think that they're there. And, you know, I do look forward to going in and setting the clock back some and re-experience some of these things. You know, it's like a second chance or something to go back and experience some of the things from a new perspective. And, you know, I hope that is going to be coming up soon. Supposedly those med beds are supposed to be real soon. I sure hope so, because I want to, not only do I want to go get all the toxins and stuff out of me, but I want to, I do want to, you know, start over, clean with it. Just experience this whole life on a whole nother level. I just think it's going to be super exciting. So, okay. Now, I've talked 2 times today. I don't know if I can think of anything to talk about tomorrow. But I do have a lot of stuff to get done. But, I mean, the hours, like, I've got so much stuff done already today. Just like I was saying the other day, you can think like, oh, I've got this to do, this to do, this to do. So that'll take me all day. Oh my gosh, no. I swear to God, you can get everything done in an hour. Okay, well, I'll go see what's on Lifetime. And hope you're having a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.